Every day I have to be calling for help for our citizens. Madam Political Leader, after a government led by you and your administration, you absolutely banish barrels to the history book of Mayaro. But you know what today? Constituents are calling WASA for help, and you know what WASA is saying? Well, put a barrel now. We go send a truck to give you some water. When your government political leader got rid of barrels throughout the constituency, now we have to put out barrels. They want we put out tub and bucket for water. Nations are planning to send men to Mars, but we telling citizens in 2019, put out bucket, put out tub to catch water. Political leader, after your government invested $400 million to expand water distribution throughout the Mayaro constituency, after 60 years of PNM neglect, I have to get a call. I have to get a call from a pensioner asking me, MP, could you help me buy some food? Why? Because she had to spend her last $500 of pension money to get a tank of water. Is that the type of governance you want? No, we will not accept that. Brothers and sisters, there is a sense of hopelessness which is fueled by massive joblessness throughout this constituency. This constituency has always been driven by a robust energy sector. With the collapse of oil prices and the brutal massacre at Petrotrin, we now have hundreds of men and women on the breadline today in Mayaro. This PNM government have not created any opportunities to fill those gaps. The best that they could have come up with in 3.5 years is to go drive truck in Canada. Is that the type of governance that you want? Every day, brothers and sisters, I have young doctors, nurses, engineers, tradesmen among the hundreds of constituents reaching out to me on a daily basis for assistance to find a job. After our UNC government ramped up tertiary educational opportunities for everyone, this PNM government has destroyed the dreams and aspirations of our young people. This Rowley-led government has caused a deep sense of hurt and despair, and this government has stifled imagination and ingenuity. Is that the type of governance that you want? This Rowley-led PNM has chased private sector investment into hiding. Private sector businessmen refuse to invest to create new business, to create new jobs. While I agree, brothers and sisters, that it is not the government's responsibility to find a government job for every citizen, it is the government's responsibility to encourage an environment that is conducive to job creation. That is the function of government. And that is what my political leader, the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar, did during her term as Prime Minister of this country. She and her policies created over 60,000 new jobs. And you know that, brothers and sisters, my political leader has to stand in this country today to witness Rowley decimate and destroy 25 to 30,000 of those jobs that she helped created from 2010 to 2015. Is that the type of governance that you want? Brothers and sisters, when my young constituents come to me in my office and they say, MP, try and help me find a job. We are seeing problems to find work. The first thing I ask them, I say, boys and girls, your family have land. Let's try and get you in your agricultural backing. Do some new business in agriculture. But you know what? Lately, I've been seeing our Minister of Agriculture living out a schoolboy fantasy playing his police, running down with forest rangers looking to lock up people. And more so, lately, I saw on Facebook where he went into our Bandanya farms, our farmers in Ecclesville, and he was clearly threatening our Bandanya farmers that they were encroaching and doing a lot of things, and that the next thing is lock up. Listen, Minister of Agriculture, whether our farmers knowingly or unknowingly break the law, wouldn't it be more prudent to call them, talk to them, tell them, look, you need to do it a little different, show them, guide them, educate them? Why make our farmers the enemies? We must never make our farmers the enemy in this country. That is how you know that a government is disconnected from the reality of the day, and more importantly, disconnected from the people. That is how they behave. That is how this PNM government behave. That is what we must stand against. We will have none of that in this constituency, in this country. We must reject that behavior of this government. But my brothers and sisters, all is not lost. My friends, these are difficult times for the people in Trinidad and Tobago, but I want to tell you that hope is on the horizon. I want to tell you that under the leadership and vision of Kamla Prasad Bisesa, Mayaro will rise against this PNM government who is trying to keep us down. My friends, it is Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the UNC who have the vision to take Mayaro forward and to make it prosperous for each and every one of you sitting here. A UNC government will continue its vision for the development of the new port city in Guayaguayari. As many of you would recall, in 2014, the then Minister of Energy, Kevin Ramnarayan, in a Kamla Prasad Bisesa administration, completed and executed phase 1 of the Galeota Port Complex. Today, NEC running that port, they have over 10 industrial customers and they're making money. Some of them say it was a white elephant, but it's making money. Ladies and gentlemen, I am telling you today, when Kamla Prasad Bisesa returns as Prime Minister of this country, we will complete the vision by executing phase 2 that will bring thousands of jobs in the maritime and shipping sector. Several downstream supporting industries will be created, since this port will now be able to service the Guyanese and Surinamese energy sector development. Brothers and sisters, those of you in the audience whose lives depends on the energy sector in Mayaro, do not lose hope. Do not despair. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, as the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, will make this a reality. I want to touch on a matter very briefly, a current issue with regards to an ongoing issue between BPTT, Neil and Marcy, our contractors and our community. Ladies and gentlemen, the Prime Minister was on TV this morning, and the man slipping by bad news in a rough and bullish way to bully BPTT. I want to tell you, Honorable Prime Minister, this Member of Parliament has been in charge of that matter for the last 3 weeks, and I have gotten all the players around the table to talk. Yes, our contractors are important to us, but we must talk, we must have dialogue, and all the parties are talking towards an amicable resolution of the problem. But the Prime Minister come this morning like a bully, want to bully BPTT. We will have none of that. Dialogue will happen, and this matter will be resolved. Brothers and sisters, another major deliverable, that when the UNC is returned to government, we will fulfill the promise of that San Fernando to Mayaro highway. That will bring relief to thousands of citizens coming to Mayaro. And brothers and sisters, when we could move people from Labre to San Fernando to Mayaro, they're walking with money in their pocket. So they will engage and spend their money in your businesses, your small business, and put their money in your pocket. We will bring that highway back to Mayaro on the front burner to bring relief to our citizens, brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters, leader speaks, she will elaborate more on her plans for not only Mayaro, but for Trinidad and Tobago. And in the few remaining seconds that I have, I want to say thank you to my constituents for the overwhelming love and support that I, as your MP, get on a daily basis. I wish to thank my political leader for having faith in my ability to serve the people of Mayaro under her care and guidance. And finally, to my beautiful wife and children who allowed me to be shared by 41,000 constituents on a daily basis, thank you, I love you, God bless every one of you. Long live our political leader, long live the United National Congress, long live Trinidad and Tobago. Good night, my brothers and sisters.
He holds a Bachelor of Arts in Management and an MBA in Leadership. He endorses Kamla Prasad Bissasa's policy of fighting to protect the working class and says we must begin a political revolution to rebuild and restore our nation. It's not an easy road. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Monday Night Forum in Miami, Mr. Lorne Diaz.
Honorable Political Leader, Ms. Kamla Prasad Bissassa, Dr. Bissassa, fellow presenters, members of Parliament, senators, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for giving me the privilege to be in the presence of people who I believe are central to our future and to the future of Trinidad and Tobago. I am Lorne Diaz, and I'm here to share my story. A story that has unfortunately been the experience of thousands of hard-working citizens of Trinidad and Tobago who have been abused, betrayed by the heartless, spiteful, oppressive, rowdy-led PNM administration. On Thursday, the 15th of November, 2018, at 3:05 p.m., I remember the exact time as if it was yesterday. I received an email at my desk that I am no longer to report to work the following day. No prior meeting, no warning, nothing. In that email, I learned that my position was redundant and I had to leave the building immediately. Just like that. Through an email, 19 years working with TSTT as a mobile supply chain representative with a bachelor's and master's degrees was over. Ladies and gentlemen, I walked out of that TSTT building on that Thursday afternoon, dazed, weak, and in tears. And I looked to my left and right, and there were hundreds of men and women, my colleagues, unable to contain their tears and desperation too. Even some managers who distributed letters were crying as they were not aware or coached for this callous act. I was made to believe by excelling in school, staying out of trouble with the law, being a model employee is what society requires. What I didn't know is that this philosophy is not the view of the People's National Movement. Brothers and sisters, I was traumatized, confused. I felt betrayed. That day, I went home having to face my family, which comprised of my father, my sisters, my nephews, my uncle, and a very large mortgage, not knowing what to do. Trinidad and Tobago, the only way I can describe what I'm going through is to say that it feels like living a death. The trauma of losing my job after 19 years of service has taken a physical toll on me. I've lost almost 30 pounds. Every day is a struggle to stay hopeful. I've lost the ability to take care of myself, my family, to pay my mortgage, my loans, and to buy groceries. My life structure was stolen. My self-esteem was snatched away. I will admit to you, there are nights that I cry, not knowing what next to do. And what makes it even worse is that I was made to feel like I had no voice. That situation didn't matter. The media refused to take it on. Let me tell you how damaging this thing is. I visited Trinidad and Tobago Mortgage Finance, TTMF, requesting a waiver of my mortgage for the months of December and January. I walked on my retrenchment letter, clearly stating the amount of severance I would receive by the 31st of January 2019. The TTMF representative then proceeded to escort me to the cashier and mentioned to me she would bring my account number so that I can make my payment. In other words, I don't care what happened to you, Lord, but you have to pay your mortgage and TTMF will not be granting any waiver. I have come here today to talk to you, to share my situation with you, so we all can see that we need to focus on the future, which will be shaped by what happens in the next few months leading up to 2020 than by any other event in this country or dare I say the world. I have come here today to make it clear as possible as to why I am endorsing Ms. Kamala Persad-Bissessar and why we must support her as she continues on her path to be reinstated as our Prime Minister in 2020. Since November 2018, I've had the extraordinary opportunity to speak to several people from all walks of life. And the profound lesson that I have learned from all those conversations is that what I am going through is not just happening to me alone. Every day, there are hard-working people like me and you sent home, families thrown into poverty, despair, and hopelessness. Children's future has been taken away. It's Petrotrin, over 5,000 workers sent home. TSTT, over 500 workers sent home. UTT, approximately 244. There are small businesses closing down and sending home workers. The construction sector is not hiring. I know of a single father who worked with me at TSTT. With tears in his eyes, he told me he was scared to death about the future because he and his young daughter are unable to survive this unemployment. This is about that man and the thousands of other hard-working people in the country. We are falling further and further behind as they try to survive in this era of massive discord. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to say publicly that I have made a decision. I, Lon Diaz, is reclaiming my future, my family's future, and I need you to reclaim yours. Now is the time for us to band together to ensure that our children and our grandchildren are able to enjoy a quality of life that brings health, prosperity, security, and joy. Today I stand here and say proudly and loudly, enough is enough. Do you agree? This great nation and its government should serve all the people, not just the elites. We deserve an equal quality of life too. I believe that this country is facing more serious problems today than any other time in our history. And I am prepared to stand up, be the voice of the voiceless, and fight back. I'm prepared to share my story directly with the people, door-to-door conversations, on the street corners, via social media, and anywhere possible. So today, here in Rio Claro, I, Lon Diaz, am proud to announce my support for Ms. Kamala Bissessar, leader of the United National Congress, and what she and her party stands for, fighting to protect the working class families of this country, driven by issues and serious debate, not by political gossip and spite, not personal attacks or character assassination. This is the type of leadership and representation I believe we all deserve. My leader, Ms. Kamala Bissessar, recognizes that giving us the opportunity to reach our full potential is not only the right thing to do, it is also the smart thing to do, to create an economy that benefits everyone. To achieve this, we must work together because everyone deserves a real and fair chance to succeed. No one deserves to go through what I am going through. Mrs. Bissessar, with her people-centered development, will create a society for the future. I believe with my support, your support, and the support of thousands of people throughout Trinidad and Tobago, we can begin a political revolution to reclaim our country economically, politically, and socially. Today, I say to the heartless and oppressive, rowdy-led administration, you took my job, you took the jobs of thousands of hard-working people like myself. Well, Dr. Rowley, we are coming for yours. Tonight, I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, are you standing with our leader? Ms. Kamala Persad-Bissessor, thank you for being the fearless and powerful leader that you are. I stand with you. Thank you.
Political leader, the Honorable Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessor and Mr. Bissessor, Member of Parliament, Mr. Rushton Parry, Senators, Chairpersons, Councillors, and you, the UNC family, good night. I am Ronelle Kissoon, and tonight I have the honor and privilege of introducing a person who is very special to everyone gathered in this hall. A very strong woman who by her accomplishments has paved the way for young people like me to serve the people of this country. She is the only leader we can say ever had the young people of this nation at heart. The only leader who has always acted while thinking about the future of Trinidad and Tobago. We have all been neglected by this current administration. Citizens have been appealing for basic necessities with no response from this current government. I am seeing so much hardship and suffering. I am seeing a government that is refusing to help the people of Trinidad and Tobago. They have broken every promise and they continue to make excuses. But ladies and gentlemen, the leader I am about to introduce does not make any excuses. She gets the job done. She works hard to ensure that our future is secure. She has set about making sure the people of this country, especially young people like myself, have hope for the future and opportunities to prosper. I have the greatest honor tonight to introduce your political leader, my political leader, our political leader, the Honorable Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessor.
We can see another Prime Minister in making. Give her a round of applause, Ms. Kissoon. Thank you so much. Mayaro, bred and born and grown. Well done. I thank you. Thank you so much. You have a great future. Trust me. When I saw you speaking here, I asked, how old are you? And well, they told me your age, and I was surprised because you look like a 16-year-old. And they also told me she's a final year student at the University of the West Indies. I think you have a long way to go. Please, again, let's applaud our young people. Honourable Member of Parliament, Rushton Parry. Can we give her a round of applause? Together with his team, I have no doubt that we are going to win the constituency of Mayaro again. Chairman of the Regional Corporation and the other councillors who are here, Glen Ram, this corporation with our councillors. So the Mayaro Regional Corporation will come home again to the UNC whenever they get brave enough to call the election. So thank you to your team. Chairman of the constituency, David Law, and the other members of the executive. And today we had really two special guests. I heard Tanisha when I was coming in the car. And they're heart-rending stories that we hear. And whilst I was here, Lorne gave us his story, which is a story that we're hearing throughout Trinidad and Tobago. So can we welcome these two persons to our platform, Lorne and Tanisha, and thank them. Thank them for sharing their stories. As MPs, and several of the MPs are here tonight, senators, we have people coming into our offices or calling us so many times for the day, emailing, and the stories are really heart-rending to break your heart, you know. And I can remember one of the things that we really worked hard on the past, when we were in government, 2010 to 2015, was to create jobs. Create jobs. We created over 55,000 new jobs. Today, I believe, is more than 55,000 jobs have been lost in this country, directly or indirectly. And the story is there for all to see. So let me say good evening to all of you. Good evening, Mayaro, Rio Claro, Mafikeng, Lebesville, Navet. Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Good evening, UNC family. I am proud and happy to be with you here tonight. For those of you who are listening to us, joining us whether through the TV or the radio or streaming, welcome to yet another packed, massive UNC Monday Night Forum. Very warm welcome here in this constituency. You know, ever since we put the country on election footing, on alert, we are in election mode, that we are getting ready to return good governance to TNT. Ever since that, we have seen the crowds, and the enthusiasm is growing and growing and growing. Ever since this year began, I said, UNC family, we are fighting alone and we will win alone as a great UNC party. I told you that in January of this year. And now we are into March, and the tempo, as you say, is picking up. You can feel it everywhere. So hundreds of people now are calling. MPs will tell you their offices too. They're calling in and they say, listen, we want to help the UNC. We want to take the UNC back into government. I thank all those volunteers, and we call on more of you to come forward, because this is a movement. It is an exciting movement at this time in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. And I am honored and privileged to be part of this movement to bring back good governance to Trinidad and Tobago. Tonight I want to speak about what I call the bold-faced, two-faced, double-speak and lies of the Rowley government. Tonight I want to share and give you some examples of how they are bold-faced. As we used to say, brass-faced long time. They're bold-faced, two-faced, deceptive, Rowley, wicked government. And so, I know we want the same things. We want an end to this useless regime. We want an end to this useless government which stood by and let thousands suffer right in your areas here, in Poole, in Mafkin, Navet, Mayaro. After the flooding, they let you suffer. Glenram, I'm glad you tell Stuart, jump back where he came from and go back where he came from. He doesn't belong here. They have no care for you down in Mayaro. We want an end to this useless government which has wiped out our greatest national treasure, the oil industry. That oil industry, Trinidad has been one of the first countries in the world, you know, in the world that went into oil. Our oil industry is over 100 years old. And so they wiped out the oil industry, putting hundreds of people in this area, southeast, out of jobs, thousands out of jobs elsewhere. People from Edwards Trace, Saunders Trace, Fonrose, Guaya, Rio Claro have lost jobs because they had the oilfield service sector shut down Petrotrin. And so I think we want an end to this useless government. They took your money, you know, your taxpayers' money, and they bought millions of dollars in fake oil from their friends. You remember that? I put to you tonight that the only reason they shut down Petrotrin was to hide what happened with the fake oil. That was to protect the Prime Minister's best friend. A bold-faced Prime Minister goes on national TV and he says the man is his best friend. So where is the justice for that? We want an end to this government who says there is no money to run Petrotrin. They have no money to pay TSTT workers. They have no money to pay UTT workers, no money to pay flood victims. Look, they don't even have money to pay the police commissioner to run the police service. They have the man begging for money to buy basic things like paying for phone bills, your commissioner of police. And then that short man in the parliament stands up to say, fake news, fake news. Well, the only thing that is fake is this government is a fake government, it is a wicked government, it is a useless government, and we have to move them out, move them out. So they have no money for that. No money to keep Petrotrin running. No money to keep the workers at TST. Lon told you about the hundreds there. Everywhere. They have no money. You know what they have money for? They seem to have a lot of money to rent a building from the Attorney General to pay $23 million in a contract. Plenty money for that. Plenty money for that. Look, let me tell you something. If you work an 8-hour day and you get a minimum wage of the $15 per day, $15 an hour, sorry. You know how long it's going to take you to get that money this man getting in 3 years? 525 years it will take you. If you're on basic pay, look, we'll all be dead and gone by then, so it means we'll never make that money. 525 years. This man gets it in 3 years. Some people may say the fellow is a scamp. Look, I wouldn't say that. They may say he's a scamp. I see Dr. Bodos smiling. Maybe, I don't know. I think Dr. Munilal might quicker say that. I'm sure Dr. Tiwari will never say that too. So some people may say it, yes, that he's a scam, but you know what he is? He is greedy. It is greedy Faris, greedy Faris, greedy Faris, and I'll show you why. So, it is pure greed and elitist contempt for normal people of this country. There's plenty of money for the wives of P&M ministers, man, listen now. It looks as though if you have to get $1 million state contracts, you better become a P&M minister wife. Because you have the Housewives Business Club. There's a Housewives Business School. So every time it's not me, it's the wife. Yes? Well, this time, Faris, is you and the wife in this $23 million contract. They have plenty money to buy land in Curep from useless, the pothole minister. That's the guy. That's the guy. They have plenty money to pay to settle sexual harassment lawsuit from the barrel fella. Remember that? Sexual harassment lawsuit. Up to today, we have not seen the report that the Prime Minister commissioned on that matter. Why? But taxpayers' dollars paying for this gentleman for his wrongdoings. They had plenty money to spend on MP Maxi. Yes? Plenty money to go. Like somebody tonight, they said that if you have to, if you have to check the blood pressure, they're flying off to the States. Like we don't have doctors here, you know. We have great doctors here in Trinidad. And if they're paying their own money, well, that's okay, but you're taking taxpayers' money. But guess what? No money to buy medicines in the hospital, wherever it is. No beds for those hospitals, but they have money to fly off to check all the things they go to check. I'm not even sure what to believe. So poor people in Trinidad and Tobago, normal people, no money, nothing to help to improve your lives. And so this is a government, I think that they have contempt, that they despise normal working people. Their priorities enrich themselves, their friends, their family, and their financiers. Oh yes, and the wives too, of course. Yes, the wives too. So they have Christmas carols and cocktails in the castle. Yeah, in December. But poor people struggling to put a meal on the table. When my government was in office, I wonder if you remember this. We discounted when it's Christmas, when it's Eid, when it's Diwali, we discounted basic food. so everybody will be able to eat. Just for the holidays, but apart from that, food. We had removed VAT from over 7,000 food items. People don't remember, you know, so we have to remind them. And especially where people catch in hell now, we must remind them. We did it once, we have a track record, we will go back and we will do it again. We will do it again. So I want you to remember, and I want you to be honest with yourselves to see that my government, we cared for the normal people of this country, but plenty money for P&M. I want the people of our land to hear what people in our country are saying. I want you to join with me and let us work together because we want an end to the lies, the deceits, and the contempt of the rowdy government. We want an end to the corruption of this government. They talk about corruption, boy, they don't know what corruption is until you see a P&M in office. They killed us with corruption talk. They're trying to kill us again. Do not be fooled. They have nothing to show, nothing they have delivered. So what they do? Pointing finger. But every time you point finger, you have four pointing where? Back at you. This government is one of the most corrupt governments we've ever seen. Most corrupt. And I will fight them and I dare them. Since they won, even before they won, and when they were in opposition, every platform, corruption, corruption, UNC corrupt, partnership corrupt. Look, it's going into 4 years. Not one case, one person charged. And because I'm saying this tonight, don't be surprised tomorrow morning to lock up somebody, you know. Don't be surprised, just to prove, just to blame Kamala again. These fellas suffering from BKS. You know what is BKS? Blame Kamala syndrome. Blame Kamala syndrome. BKS. I mean, this man wake up this morning and go on national TV, okay? You know what it is? You know, when we were scheduling this meeting today, April 1, a few people say, leader, no manner, it's April Fool's Day and so on. I say, boy, it don't matter. But you see why? Today is April Fool's Day. We see the fool on TV. He and his government. That person and his government, they are fools 365 days of the year, every day of the year. So no problem having our meeting here tonight. Look, I want to deal with a number of issues. I've been entertaining you, raising points. I want to deal with some serious issues, okay? I want to deal with, as I say, the lies, the incompetence, and how hapless and useless this government is. Every day, we see more examples of how useless they are. They have no plan. Remember, Rodney told us that? Rodney warned us, and that has come to pass. So, we got a little pecan hole in the meeting today, but the gentleman goes now on CNC 3 this morning, yeah? I think it's a 2-hour interview, I was told. I didn't have the belly to watch that whole long, boring thing, but I'm told. So he went on CNC 3. Now, some people say that is really PNM 3, eh? I wouldn't say that, though. I think they are just CNC 3. So he goes on this program, okay? And this is a station, by the way. For 2 weeks, they're talking about buck. All the news, front page, back page is buck. When all the bucks pass into who? Faris Al-Rari for $23 million. All the bucks gone. All your dollars. But all they could find for news was this buck. Sorry about whoever and whatever, but I'm more worried about the dollars and cents of your money, taxpayers' money, and where it's gone. So, okay. So, you behave, eh? Behave. And so, we have to thank the social media, and I implore you, I urge you, go on to the social media. They are real people posting real things. You will see yourself, in fact, on my Facebook by tonight or tomorrow, from pictures from this meeting. Go up on my Facebook, go up on the UNC pages, get the real news there. Thank God, all of you post up on that. Thank you for the support and for the, really exposing the wrong things. So, Okay, on CNC3, okay? And so I'm told it was the same as usual, nothing new, except the BKS, the blame Kamla syndrome, again on the TV3 this morning. So let's talk about some comments he made last week, the Prime Minister made last week, when he and his stooges, they went to turn the sod at Valencia for upgrade of the road from Valencia to Toco. Now, have you noticed something, by the way? During our term in office, we used to be cutting ribbon to show we complete a project, we commissioned a project. These fellas have delivered nothing. They cutted ribbon to start a project. Cutting ribbon to start a project. Anyhow, they cutted ribbon to announce projects. They woulda, coulda, shoulda have done into 4 years. None of those projects will see the light of day. Been there, done that. You have your planning phases, then your implementation, you can get projects done. By the way, this school we are in tonight, I am proud to say this school started when I was Minister of Education under the Mr. Pandey's government. So, Mr. Rowley says, East Trinidad was behind God's back. And the communities are neglected, again with the BKS, trying to blame us. But that fellow forgets something, you know. It is true that the eastern parts, both the northeast and southeast, are not as developed as they should be. It is true there is a lack of adequate infrastructure in these parts, but it is also true that the PNM spent 42 out of our 57 years in government. So don't BKS me, you know. Don't do it at all. You have to go right to Balishe House and to the PNM to see where that neglect came from under the PNM. And let me give you another example of the abuse of the people of the East, man. The fellow is so bold-faced and two-faced. When they turned the sod last week, and please don't be fooled, it's not a highway. I am told all they're doing is repaving parts of the existing roadway. It's not no new highway like we built coming down south. And tonight I share with you, I made that pledge to you in 2015 in Mayaro, that we will build a highway from Mayaro to San Fernando. You will have to put us back into government. Mayaro to San Fernando. I am coming here tonight and I took a little long, you know why? The road is so really, I can't believe people will get up and go to work, coming along, going. It's just too bad. Put us back in government and we will build the Mayaro to San Fernando highway. So let's come back to this, what he said when he's turning southern cotton ribbon and so on. I'm quoting here now, so give me a minute as I read it. It matters not how loud we shout or who blames us. Until that infrastructure is built, you will remain behind God's back in TNT. Up at Valencia. Some people will find something to fight about. If not this project, which one? And if not now, when? And if not the PNM, who will do it? We have drilling taking place offshore. Toco could easily become a jumping off point to our eastern reserves. Say what? Rowley passed. What is called it? Rewind. When the UNC under Pandey wanted to build a port in Toco and upgrade the road and bring economic development, what Rowley talking about now? Back then, he was in opposition in the year 2000, 19 years ago, you know. This is what the man had to say 19 years ago. And you know where he said it? In the parliament. Anybody could go back and check July 28, 2000. You'll find a parliament record. This is what he said when Pandey's government wanted to build that same port. The basis for this port, I'm quoting him, is from Tobago to Toco ferry. See what? Same thing the man talked about last week. Nobody in Tobago wants it. Nobody in Tobago or Toco appreciates it. But that is a grease to have the product created. Do you know who is doing this? The UNC cabinet. The UNC cabinet. By saying that it is a Tobago to Toco ferry, the government is given an impression that it is a public purpose. And under that category, the government is now going to proceed to take away people's homes to create this port. So here we have a situation where those who are living on the land and so on, they're going to lose their land and people are going to make money. I wonder who owns land up in the east there. I think there are people, same man who we had to buy land for Curab interchange. I hope this port is not a whole big excuse to buy any land from any cabinet minister of this government. You see, since 19 years ago, this is what this man talking about. And today saying he wants to build this port. He thinks that the people of Trinidad and Tobago will forget. So what has changed, Mr. Rowley? You suffered, you forgot the people 19 years ago. You're coming now months before an election, promising all kinds of things. PNM promises never materialize. So here in this party, they are the reason for the underdevelopment in the East. I told you 42 out of 57 years. They are the reason for the underdevelopment. But now they're coming bold-faced, crying crocodile tears about people in the East living behind God's back. Shameless, I tell you. Shameless. The first thing the PNM would like to say now when I talk, when I say they haven't delivered anything, boy, who tell me say that? They take out one long page and start listing that they achieved. The fellas so not smart. Trini will say they're dotish. They put in projects that we did under their list of achievements. Aquatic center, velodrome, tennis center, and these fellas so into racket. You know the National Tennis Center, that was the name we gave it. You know what they're calling it? National Racket Center. That's all they're about, rackets. So let me tell them some more. I've shared projects before. Today I want to talk about you down here in the Southeast. Look, and this list is so long, and it's just some, but I think I should say to remind people. We refurbished and opened, as Glen Ram told you, the Bish High School. You know they changed that name too? All those new schools that we had built, we had called them high schools, they changed it to Bish Secondary School. A rose by any other name is a rose, and a school by any other name is still a school. We were able to build that under Pandey's government. They stalled it. I had to come into government again, and we got it open. We constructed, as MP told you, the 85 US million port of Galeota, but that's just a phase one. And as MP told you, they're making money. We constructed and opened the new Rio Claro Presbyterian Primary School. We constructed the first ever Rio Claro public library. Did you know that? That was under my government. First public library. We upgraded the Rio Claro health facility for 24-hour service. Have they stopped 24 hours, or do you have 24-hour service here? Russia? No, no. They're shutting down that too. Less hours. We upgraded, as I said, the health facility for 24-hour service. We provided pipeline water to Union Village after 100 years. And I heard the councillors here telling you of how much water projects that were done. The problem is we did the projects, now they don't have the water to send through the water lines. We had to come back and make sure that water flows in those water lines to your homes. No more barrels and so on by the side of the road. We constructed over 65 retaining walls. That's what the landslip repairs. Naparia Mayaro Road, Dade Straits, Kildare, Clearwater, Bish, Pool, Libertyville, Guaya, Agostini, Navet, Sharuma, etc. Again, the council shared details with you. We opened the Rio Claro Social Services Center. I came down here as Prime Minister to open that Social Services Center where it was a one-stop shop where you could go and get all the social services, access to those. I trust they have not shut that down as well. We did the dual lane bridge at Navet. We did the dual bridge at Double Bridge. Thank you. Wire. We constructed dual bridge at Pool. Village ongoing. Don't forget that Mayaro Fire Station. Is it open yet? We completed the Mayaro service station. No, I'm being told they have no fire truck. No fire truck. No fire truck. We refurbished the Otwa Heritage Market. We opened Star ICT Access Center at Guaya. We constructed several early childhood schools, primary schools, secondary schools. Should I continue? I have 2 more pages of these. Libisville Community Center, Rio Claro Community Center, Navet Community Center, Mayaro Civic Center, Bish Presbyterian School, Mayaro Indoor Sport Facility. All that just down here, you know, in Southeast. We paved major roadworks in Rio Claro, Tabaquite, the Southern Main Road, Agostini, Guaya, Lazari Road, Pool Valley. You could believe one government did all of that in 5 years. And not just here, you know, throughout the length and breadth of our country. Look, I have a lot more, but I want to get to some of the issues. I trust you believe me, we delivered in every corner of our land, including here in the east, southeast Trinidad and Tobago. We have a track record. We have a track record of performance beats old talk anytime and every time. Because you see, it has always been the philosophy of the UNC to seek to improve the lives of all citizens, not just some. The government I.A.N, we completed the Churchill-Roosevelt Highway extension, that highway coming south. We built new police stations, not just in our areas, you know, Piarco, Arima. Rudy was down in Labre as well. Labre, Maloney. We started St. Joseph and Besson Street police stations. We built the EZC, as I told you, all over. We started constructing that highway they've been promising forever, the highway going down to Point 14. But we had to go back and finish it, you know, because they shut it down when they came into office. Or before. Whenever they call election, we are going back into government, we will complete the Point 14 highway. The projects we had in train would have been able to open up the whole of the East for investment and development. So I'm looking forward to that task. If you put us back there, we will get the job done. Tonight, in this constituency of Mayaro, I congratulate again your UNC MP, Rushton Parry, for the great work he has been doing. But his pathway has not been an easy one. His pathway has been blocked by the incompetence, the ineptitude, and brutal policies of the Rowley government. Yet he doesn't give up. What has Rowley done in 4 years to benefit the normal man in any area, in any field? What has he done? They had 42 months to engage needs of people of East Trinidad. Instead, they brought back this property tax thing, put back VAT on the thousands of food items. They are presiding over massive job losses. They shut down the gate, cut the social services. I heard you speaking about a single mother. Do you remember we had something called a baby grant? They cut that down too. Christine was the minister at the time when we established that baby grant to help single mothers with their children. That gone, as so many other things, causing really hardship. So while they continue to fail people, the UNC is developing and has already a major part of our plan for the East to bring economic development here through about 12 key strategic prosperity engines. These prosperity engines will mobilize and engage private sector and will have multiply effects that will bring jobs and bring more development here. So let me share some of the plans for Mayaro in particular, since we are here, Mayaro and environs. Tourism. There is enormous potential for the development of tourism along the East Coast here. But the government I led then, we were working on a major tourism development project for Mayaro. I'm not sure if I pronounced it right, but the Lagon Du Integrated Hotel and Resort Development. That was expected to bring positive socioeconomic benefits for Southeast by way of employment and income growth. That project, should we have gone back in 2015, would have contributed to bringing diversification of the economy, bringing jobs here in the construction phase, and then bringing jobs thereafter, permanent. That project was expected to be undertaken through a joint venture company. So apart from developing the tourism area, the project would have resulted in new housing, new medical facilities, and other spin-off benefits for your area. Of course, the PNM came, and like everything else, stopped, truncated, cut off. The project was shelved. They do not see that potential here in Mayaro, but we do. And that is a project we will want to pick up again and reconsider and explore to create jobs right here in Mayaro. Now, the River Swamp. We plan to make that swamp the #1 ecotourism site in the Caribbean. It is a beautiful swamp. It is very underutilized. It has tremendous potential. We will invite private sector to invest to establish a world-class ecotourism facility in that river swamp. Save the swamp, save the environment, and make money from that project. We are going to upgrade Edwards Trace to a major road to connect Guaya to Moruga. That's a trace will connect one infrastructure space. This upgrade will provide access to the southeast coastline where we can develop first-class beaches and, as I say, ecotourism resorts. This area has some of the most beautiful beaches, rivers, springs, hiking trails, and forests in our country. Again, we'll encourage investment to earn income from these very beautiful natural assets. MP Rushton spoke about agriculture. I just want to endorse what he said and speak a bit more of that. I'm talking about some of the projects to get your economy going down here, to get your jobs growing, and of course bring development. Agriculture. We have singled out agriculture because of its potential to contribute into our nation's food basket, food security needs, in addition to earning foreign exchange, saving foreign exchange, deepening of sectoral linkages, management of the environment, and in the fight against climate change. We have several agricultural commodities where there is significant market opportunity and good growth potential. People are moving away from industrial farms because they want to know where their food is coming from and how it's being grown. They are demanding organic superfoods like turmeric. You know what turmeric is? Turmeric is what we call saffron. But the real saffron is a very, very expensive thing. So the turmeric, as a child, some of you may remember growing up, make saffron tea, we call it Israeli turmeric tea. Very healthy, very useful. I was in Florida recently and I went into the supermarket, and not the supermarket, Dr. Bodo, the place of selling medicines, Walgreens, a pharmacy. And on the shelf they have a bottle like this with tablets inside it. You know what tablets they were? Turmeric tablets. They're selling that now like medication. People are in demand. Turmeric, moringa. I know there's Saijan. My brother Clifton Dikoto is always telling me about this moringa. It is like a super wonder health food. And we can grow that so easily here. Out of that plant, if you check it, you'll see you can use the leaves, you could use the flowers, you could use the bark, and of course you used to make stick. The Saijan call it stick to carry, remember that? Every part of that plant is edible. We can grow that and it's in great demand in the world. So turmeric, moringa, cocoa, avocado, gluten-free flowers like cassava flour, green banana flour, all these we can do. Russian told you, you know it, we have the land here, we can develop the agriculture. One day I plan to take a picture of my garden. I enjoy the garden, right? If you come there, I think I send Dr. Munilal some side. Boy, if you see how big them side is. True or not true? I have side, yes. I have side, I have okra. I have, whichever way you call it, some say brinjal, some call it a melange, yeah? Some in Trinidad we call it baigan. If you see, last night I get a baigan this side, in my own, with my own hands. If I could do it, anybody could do it. Agreed? And don't talk about tomatoes and peppers. I had so many tomatoes in this last crop. Boy, anybody pass my house, anybody come in, they had to leave with a bag because it was just too much. I think maybe in the next lifetime, I'll put a little stall outside by the front gate and try to sell some. But we can do it, we can do it, we can do it. We can feed ourselves, we can export it. Look, peppers, simple thing like pepper. You cannot produce enough pepper for the foreign market. Every pepper you grow can be exported. Every pepper, single one. And of course, Trinidad has one of the world famous, down by the Koto in Moruga somewhere, scorpion pepper. Supposed to be a very, very, very hot pepper. So we are pushing. People are demanding for coconut water. Long ago when the foreigners came and colonized us, they said coconut water not good for you. Remember? No, I don't drink coconut water. Now, world demand for coconut water. Things we can grow. High value, coconut milk, coconut butter, coconut sugar. People are paying premium prices for these things. We are pushing to introduce non-traditional agriculture in areas that are therapeutic. I mentioned the turmeric, the moringa and so on. Nutraceutical plants, exotic livestock, integrated aquaculture system, biopesticides, crop genetic improvement, medicinal plant farms, and environmental conservation through farms to regenerate indigenous plants and animals. I don't want to bore you too much, but it's important that we know we have a plan. And one, thank you so much. Love you too, thank you. Thank you. We know we have a plan, not just for here, for all of TNT, but I'm sharing this agricultural plan with you. And of course, oil and gas. We cannot get away from oil and gas once we are down in Mayaro. You have the port there, Galeota. So my plan is, our plan is that we will expand the port at Galeota and encourage more oil and gas service companies to set up. So we'll do phase 2 of the Galeota port. A part of our aim is to encourage the growth of the offshore platform repair and platform construction, as well as pipe yard facilities and ship handler operations, similar to what is done on Labditco. That's what we want to do here at Galeota in your area. To make this happen, to make it happen, investments in infrastructure would have to be made, which will include roads on the coastlines, protection of the coastline. And I guarantee you, should you put us back into office, one of the first projects I will start. We have the feasibilities. I said it before, but I want to say it again because I know I have a long drive to go back up that road. And that's not going to be very pleasant. I guarantee you when you put us back into office, amongst our first projects will be the start of the Mayaro to San Fernando Highway. So the Mayaro, Rio Claro area is identified as a zone for focused economic growth, as I told you, through tourism, through the agriculture, and through the gas service sectors right here in Galeota. I come now to another of their double-speak, bold-faced, two-faced lies, yes? Natural gas prices. Talking about it, we are in the area here. This is another example of brass-faced, bold-faced, two-faced, double-speak lies to the country. This government's complete mismanagement of our energy sector has meant that the NGC, National Gas Company, is now buying gas, yes, at a higher price and selling that same gas at non-competitive rates. How did that happen? Now we are producing more gas thanks to the partnership. We put the incentives, we brought and more gas, producing more. But what is happening? We are making less money thanks to Rowley's negotiations. He said he was Trinidad and Tobago's biggest salesman, but the man sell out Trinidad and Tobago, boy. He sold out the price, the gas, so that now we have to buy this gas. I'm told Kevin Ramnarayan sent me an email, 30 to 40% more. But then we have to sell it at non-competitive rates. And you know why? This is when Dr. Rowley and a fella, we know him as the Facebook policeman. This man like he live on Facebook. Some people call him Captain Treason because he always accusing everybody else of unpatriotic and treason. So Dr. Rowley and the Facebook minister, Stuart Young, they went up to Houston in 2017. They went up to negotiate prices for our gas, the natural gas, to buy the gas from the companies, BP, EOC, I think, Bo remind me, BP, EOG, Shell, yes, and other companies, yes. And God alone knows what they got up to, because now, as I told you, NGC, which is yours, people, it belongs to the people, they are paying more for the gas from these companies. Oh, by the way, you notice something? This Facebook policeman trying to dress up like Gary Griffith. He walking all around the place, putting on some kind of uniform. All around the place. You know what happened? People just laughing at him. No, he's just a useless laughing stock. They have seen he is useless, this young minister. He's a minister, I used to tell you, all-purpose minister. Yeah? Well, now he's minister of nothing. No purpose. Thank you. Minister of no purpose whatsoever. So when they went up there, Rowley negotiated to pay more. To pay more. Okay? This week, the Facebook minister told the country, I don't know why suddenly at the post-cabinet meeting last week, Thursday, the Facebook minister, the policeman, he tells the country, we, that's him, man, that is Rowley and his water carrier, that fellow. Quote, we did not engage in negotiations. It is completely wrong to say that the Prime Minister negotiated any gas price. That's no. Now, as I tell you, rewind. Here is what the Prime Minister Rowley said himself. July 11, 2017, in point 14, you know, he has these conversations. So you can go up and find it, you'll see him. You see him speaking and hear him. This is what he said. They forget, you know, they think we will forget. This is what he said. When I went to Houston 2 to 3 months ago with Minister Young on a mission to meet BP, Shell, and EOG. BP, our largest supplier. Shell, the new giant who bought out BG. And EOG, our second largest gas producer. I went to Houston. Rowley, I went to Houston and concluded the negotiations that had been going on, and we agreed on a gas price across the board. You remember that? He came to the parliament and told us a similar thing. But like he does not remember what he said from one week to the next. They say when you're lying, you just can't remember all the lies. But here it is, bold-faced, two-faced, man. So which one is true? What Young said, the Facebook minister, or what Rowley said? Which one to believe? This government doesn't know it's it doesn't know it's last week or this week. They just don't know. They don't know. They just don't know. The two positions can never be true. This morning now, on CNC 3, Mr. Rowley, bold-faced, two-faced, denied he ever said that. But you will get it. It is live unless they hear me tonight and they take down the page. They could do that, you know. Take down the page. You could see the gentleman speaking and saying it. He said he never said that. Never said that. So we have to question whether our Prime Minister is taking us for fools or whether this is just another bold-faced lie. We really have to question. Huh? This is a government. They cannot operate a ferry between TNT. They feel they could go and negotiate. Yeah, the Facebook man, the policeman, and Mr. Rowley, the geologist, they're going to negotiate with gas prices with these huge oil and gas companies. They have been in that business forever. They employ the best brains. He believed he and Stuart could go and negotiate with these people. So they went up to Houston and he said, behold, I am the great salesman, negotiator, Keith Christopher Rowley. And this here is my trusted water fetcher, Stuart Young. We have come to negotiate. Well, listen now, these foreign oil executives, they totally outsmarted Rowley and Stuart, the waterman. They tied them up, you know, in my Arabian ice crab. They tied them up like two hairy leg Sunday crab. Yes? And they tell them, go back home. Go back home. It's through these two guys outsmarted themselves, and now our entire gas industry is suffering because of their incompetence. So tonight, I am begging this Prime Minister, please spare the people of our nation any more hardships. Listen, don't negotiate any more deals, and above all, call the election now. Call the election. Call it. Finally, in yet another instance of bold-faced, two-faced, double-speak lies, this involves pariah Trading, Paria Fuel Trading Company. You know, that's one of the companies they set up when they shut down Petrotrend and so on, okay? In a newspaper report, the chairman of Trinidad Petroleum Holdings, Mr. Espiney, he told the country that they had put out a request for proposals, an RFP, for Paria Fuel to be sold. In other words, Paria Fuel was up for sale. Well, I tell you, they don't remember one day to the next time. So this was totally unbelievable. There was not a word about this RFP for the Minister of Energy from anybody in the government, but Mr. Esther the all man, he put in out requests for proposals. The next day now, up comes who? The Minister of Energy. And he puts out a press release saying, Paria Fuel is not for sale. He said, the chairman Espiney, maybe he did it inadvertently. That's a big word that just means he did it by mistake. How you could make a mistake like that? How can you make a mistake to put out a request for proposals saying that this thing is for sale, inviting proposals, man? Our greatest treasure and asset, mistake. The only mistake, Mr. Khan, is you and the Rowley government. That is the biggest mistake this country ever made. And Minister of Energy had no shame to put out true inadvertence. You know, I quite honestly believe this minister doesn't even know what is happening. I believe he is not in charge of the Ministry of Energy, and I believe the policeman on the Facebook, I think he's the one really behind pulling all the strings. So it gets worse, huh? That same week now, after the Prime Minister returned home, he had gone 2 weeks abroad. I think he thought he was going to meet the US Secretary of State, Pompeo. But then he got uninvited. But he says, okay, I'm still going up and do my test up in the States, okay? I'm still going for my medical. And that same week now, he comes back, okay? And this is what he told us. He told the country, Paria Fuel is not for sale. But, he says, the government may use it as leverage in the sale of the refinery, depending on proposals they receive. The same refinery now, by the way, that they first said they were not going to sell because it was losing too much money and nobody would be interested. You remember that? When this story is told in the history of this nation, you will see this Rowley government has been unraveling every single thing of worth in our country. I could get Lon Diaz to talk to us, get her to speak with us. Last week we had a Petrotrend, last meeting, Petrotrend employee, I.A.N. Ford, telling us about what happened there. This same refinery, they told us, no, we can't sell it, you know, we're losing money, we have to shut it down. Nobody will buy that piece of rusty old iron and so on. And now, they decide they want to sell it. And they said, well, listen, they have 50 potential buyers. Suddenly they have 50 potential buyers. I don't know where they found these people. That same refinery. So first, Paria Fuel was for sale. Then it was not for sale. Now it's still not for sale. Now it's for sale. But it might be the sale based on what offers government get. They don't know left from right. They just don't know what they're doing. You see the chain up? All this chain up and distraction is to try to confuse us, but we will not be confused. We know what you are up to. We know what you are up to. And to make this confusion worse, as maybe that's what they want to do, you know, to confuse everybody while they carry out their nefarious agendas. Huh? Don't watch this thing simply, you know. Plenty deals going down. You shut down the place. I was told that some building up there in the shut down refinery, somebody broke in the building and take a paper and thing. Now, I had written to Gary Griffith, Commissioner of Police, and I said, Commissioner, ensure you get the fake call papers before they shut down this place and papers start to disappear, you know. Well, I hope he did. So, here we are. Make the confusion worse now. When people start to question this matter, for sale, not for sale, maybe for sale, the government start to do what? BKS. They resort back to their favorite, BKS, blame Kamala syndrome. You believe that? The incompetence, they want to blame me and not taking that. But I will take all the delivery and performance we did, 10 to 15 under my government. I'll take that. I'm taking that. And I want to tell you, and you know it was not Kamala who closed down Petrotrend. It was not Kamala who put thousands of workers on the bread line. And it was not Kamala who was crushed the South and Central economy, especially by the shutdown of petrol. It was Kamla putting the whole country in jeopardy. It was not Kamla who appointed a Minister of Energy who, frankly, does not seem to know where he is half the time, far less what's going on in that industry. I think his name is Franklin Khan. I think we should call him Franklin Can't. He just can't get it done. Franklin can't. He can't do anything. He doesn't know anything. He is simply in that energy ministry to rubber stamp Espinay and the Facebook policeman minister. Yeah, he just can't. He just can't. Give a little joke here. Rodney, I don't mean no disrespect to you. Well, he is more useless than a comb is to a bald head man like Rodney. He is more useless than a toothbrush is to a man who has no teeth. Fella just can't, he just can't. You get the picture? It's not Kamla who cannot give answers to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. It is not Kamla who can't give a straight answer as to what is the plan for Paria fuel, because I have a plan. I have a straight answer, and it is this. I promise you that it will be Kamla and the government you put in office, and the UNC, who will clean up this mess by this incompetent rowdy government. And it will be Kamla and the UNC in office. Tonight I call on Rowley and Minister Kant and all of them, stop the sale of the refinery. Stop the sale, call the election. And we will find a way to get that refinery working again, to get jobs, get people working again. Do not sell the people's assets, patrimony of the nation. Do not sell it, Keith Rowley. You said you're strong and you're brave. That's what he said, I have the courage. You have the courage to shut down the one, but is it like killing the goose with the golden egg, boy? The one thing that was bringing foreign exchange, you know, when we were making our own gas and oil and selling, now we are importing. You know what you have to pay for that when you import it? Not TT dollars, you know, foreign exchange. And the largest single earner of foreign exchange in this country was what? Oil and gas. So you don't have the forex to buy. So where you find this forex? What making forex? They have no plan to diversify the economy. That is why I talk to you tonight. Agriculture down here, tourism down here, in the oil and gas sector as well. And as I close, I cannot leave you all tonight without sharing some more about how to keep it in the family. Keep it all in the family, not mine. Keep it in the P&M family. In my last example here, bold-face, double-speak, and so on, two-face, whatever, we have a man. Somebody told me, I don't know if it's true, we could check it. They told me that it took 8 years to do a 4-year course to become a lawyer or something like that. And this is the one and only. By the way, I hope it's the one and only. Hopefully, don't have others like him. This is the one and only Faris Arawi. Yeah? Also known as Johnny Sukaran. Now known as Faris Arawi. 2 weeks ago, on a Monday night platform, I told the country about the millionaire AG Faris and the rental from the Arawi clan of a deal within part of the cabinet that he is a part of. Okay? Let me remind you of a few things. In 2009, that clan rented out to the government one Alexandra place. Don't mix up the two buildings, you know. There's two buildings there now, you know. One Alexandra, 2009, the P&M government rented it from the clan. This year, 2019, so exactly about 10 years ago, 10 years now, fast forward, they are renting 3 Alexandra Street. Between 2009 and now, that one property, 1 Alexandra Street, they call it Alexandra Place as well. You know how much money the clan earned from that one, you know. Not the second one yet. $100 million. $100 million. over that period from 09 down until 2019, about $100 million. There were claims that we left the building empty. But here's what the P&M tries to hide. One, they rented the property from the clan, Pharisees clan. They rented it in 09, just before the elections. They left it as a contract we couldn't get out of. But on top of that, the property, when they rented, the building was more of a shell. It was not outfitted for use, and it lacked statutory approvals. Is that true? This is what I'm told. So they rented something that was not ready to use, and then accused us of leaving it empty. They took us that time, and it took them 1 more year after we left office before they actually put a ministry in that building. So that one, Rohan talking on the news about building approvals, but the P&M rented a building for $690,000 a month. That's what they were paying. That's what they rented it from the clan for, $690,000 a month. More than $500,000. No approvals. So now, they will be collecting $1.4 million every month. Now, with this new rental, 1.4. So the 690 and then the 6 something, $1.4 million a month. A month. They don't want to talk about that. They want to hide behind the fact that 1 Alexandra Street, which was such a bad investment from the start, it took years to get it outfitting done. We started to outfit the building. It took Rowley another year with him in government to put a ministry, as I said. And so I had to mention 1 Alexandra Street tonight because the P&M has tried to spin the 1 Alexandra building issue and merge it with the property next door, 3 Alexandra. It's 2 huge buildings, you know. 2 skyscrapers, 2 different buildings. 1.4 million a month, you know, not a year, you know. A month. Boy, I'm sure many of you would like to belong to part of that clan. But don't go there, you might get locked up, you never know. You never know. They might come knocking on your door. So they're trying to pull wool over our eyes as they laugh their greedy selves all the way to the bank. You see, with greedy people like these, you know, we Trinidadians say they're licorice. They say greedy licorice. People say licorice. You have not only to listen to what they are saying, you have to see what they are doing. You have to see what they're doing. And you have to look at what is not being said, yeah? The Prime Minister this morning on April Fool's Day on CNC3 and so on, again, pathetic, bold-faced, two-faced, defending this deal this morning. He said everything is above board. This is a Prime Minister who cuts and cut the $500 baby grant I spoke about. The single mothers took away laptops from our children, took away 18,000 food cards from struggling families, cut gate, cut school feeding, fire thousands, raised fuel prices 3 times, raised taxes on food, car, house, land, not paying for medicines at the hospital. This is a man who says everything is above board when one of his ministers will be getting owned 50 and 50, wife and husband. Huh? $23 million of taxpayers' money. Can you believe that is bold-faced, brass-faced, double-speak? My friends, as I close, he defends Rari, he defends the clan. I told you all once, I will tell you again. This is the Prime Minister who is a stooge of the elites. He is just there to do their bidding. He has no care for the ordinary people. He has only a mouth to bully workers, the poor. There's a wicked and incompetent government. The facts are clear. The AG and his wife own Zaman Enterprises. They bought the property next to the one they had. And that one was owned by Ravi's wife and family. But at that time, he was not in the cabinet. So you could say, okay, well, he was not. But this time, he is a key member of the cabinet. In fact, a cabinet, according to our constitution, is formed as long as there are 2 people, a Prime Minister and an AG. So Monilal gave me a little joke. You know, Monilal is a lawyer now too, you know, he just don't practice the law. He gave me a little joke. He said, listen, so when the AG say he walk out the door and he leave the room, who is the AG sitting down inside the cabinet meeting to comprise the proper cabinet meeting? It's a question we have to ask. So Mr. Rowley comes on TV this morning and he says, everything is above board. Okay. He says, Faris says he recused himself. The Prime Minister said he left the room. Or he made sure that Faris left the room, by the way. He said he made sure. So this note comes to cabinet. Oh, everybody sitting around the table is your brother and sister, you know. So you walk out the room and you leave all them P&M ministers inside here. What do you want them to do? What do you want them to do? Well, that's what they should not have done. And I'm calling on these cabinet ministers, you know. I am calling on these cabinet ministers who participated in the discussion and the decision to give this lease to Faris and his wife. I'm calling on them to clear their names. Clear their names. And in particular, I am being told and I'm asking, somebody got their medical bills paid for by somebody else. Ministers, make sure it's not you. And by the way, I understand they real brutalized some people last week after I read out the cabinet note on this matter. And they really brutalized a poor fellow. I hear he crying all about one of the ministers because they're telling that minister, hey, you the one give Kamala that cabinet note. No, it was not Kazim. You did not give me the cabinet note. It was not Kazim. Okay? It wasn't Kazim, so leave him alone. Leave him alone, he will come home. It wasn't Kazim. So, here they are defending this deal. The $23 million question is why did Faris try to hide that he owned the property half by taking his name from the list of directors just before the agreement. So what he did, they attached to the cabinet no change of directors. So the changes as Faris moved his name and left his wife and son as directors. But the fella maybe really took long to finish law school, I don't know. Because he should have also taken the name of as a shareholder. There is no document up to recent checks, up to the time of that, there is no document removing Faris as 50% shareholder of this $23 million contract lease company. Amen. So asking Dr. Rowley, I'm asking you why he didn't take his name off as shareholder. Tonight I have a little more information. Minister Marlene MacDonald made a statement in Parliament after I made the revelation. And she told the Parliament that 3 Alexander Place was being rented from Faris for the CPO's office. CPO is the Chief Personnel Officer. Okay? That's what she told us in Parliament. And she was correct. However, Minister MacDonald did not share with us how the CPO arrived to get 3 Alexandra Place. While the CPO was occupying a building in Barataria at $9 a square foot, a particular minister frustrated the negotiations to renew that lease when it came up. This is a $9 per square foot Barataria CPO is renting. When the lease came up for renewal, a particular minister frustrated the renewal of that lease. So I want to ask whether or not Minister Maxi Coffey has any knowledge, because remember he was the minister then. He was Minister of Public Admin, you remember? And these property renters fall under that ministry. I want to ask him, do you know anything about the details of the lease for the CPO office in Barataria? And why it is that lease was not renewed? Now, it's an important question, because that building was $9 a square foot. Marlene MacDonald told us in the Parliament, this building is $14 and something per square foot. But something is strange about that too, you know. Faris Alwari was on our radio program, and I have his voice clip, by the way, so I have saved that clip. When Faris told the nation through the radio station, he said it's good value for money, that the property was being rented at $7 per square foot. Marlene MacDonald comes and reads the cabinet note, gives us the information. She says it's 14 point something dollars per square foot. Which one is the truth? The truth is they did make the contract for the 14 point something dollars per square foot. So where does $7 come from, Faris? Why did you say this $7 per square foot? Guilty conscience, you know. So that's 50%, no, 100% more, from 7 to 14 point something. So Maxi was Minister of Public Admin, I'm going backwards. And I'm asking, did a particular minister make sure the CPO did not stay at the Barataria office so as to do what? facilitate the rental of Faris's building? I'm asking questions. There are people in this country who are not stupid, and there are people who are not happy with what's happening under Rowley's government, so people are giving us information. I will ask the questions. I am told there are no problems with the CPO's office at the Barabara property. In fact, they're still there, some of them. That was considered value for money at the $9 a square foot. But government is one where you scratch my back and I'll scratch your back. So, Tuesday, March 1929, interview on I.A.N 5.5. This is what I was referring to. A.G. Faris, Johnny Sukaran, Arawi said that the property at number 3 Alexander was being rented at $7 a square foot, or $7.50 thereabouts. How 7 could jump to 40? Only in his mind. And so the cabinet note for the rental of the property, I have a copy of it, black and white, it shows the property is being rented at over $14 a square foot. Somebody slipped up badly here. In the statement in Parliament, Barlin described the rental of Faris's property for the CPO as value for money. I'm sure you'll agree it's value for money, but not for you. It's value for money for the Faris clan. Big, big value for money. I will share with you the next occasion how much money one man in this cabinet and his family are receiving in rental and contracts from the government. There are several other companies and contracts. Not tonight. Stay tuned. On another night, I will expose these dealings and show you the corruption in the Rowley government. So you left a properly functioning property at Barataria, renting for $9, to come and rent another one for $14 a square foot, spending over $8 million more in rent in the same period. Is that value for money? Connect the dots. Is that value for money? My friends, I want to close to tell you, when you see a cabinet writing off millions of dollars in medical bills for a minister, maybe you'll understand how and why these strange things are happening. Maybe you'll understand why. You scratch my back, I'll take care of yours. Is this a case of you help me and I will help you? I am not accusing anyone. I am asking questions. We deserve to get answers. If you are a UNC supporter, you know, and I'm sure all of you here are UNC supporters. All UNC in the house, raise your hand. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Thank you. Thank you. If you are a UNC supporter, if you are a PNM supporter, and even if you are an undecided voter, ask yourself, is this right? Ask yourself, is this deal, is this right? I ask you, was it the right thing to do? Leave the Barataria $9, come and tell people it's $7 when it's really $14. Is this the right thing to do for the AG of a cabinet? The key legal officer, man. How can we sit by? If it is not illegal, it is certainly unethical for that to be done. Prime Minister said this morning he's okay with that. But then this is a man who's okay with over 50,000 people losing jobs. Huh? He's okay with that too. I want you at home. I want you when you're at home, or think of it. You're home, huh? Look across the room. You're sitting at the table to eat. There's the wife, there's the husband watching each other, there's the son, whoever. And you look across the table at your husband or your wife and tell me, if he or she signed a deal to make $23 million in 3 years, that you would not directly benefit from that deal, man. Hey, where are you living? This is Trinidad and Tobago. You cannot wash your hands of this deal. The AG is saying that because his wife and son are directors, he will not benefit. You hear a lie? That is one big lie. They're all living, eating, sleeping in the same house, I think, but he won't benefit. He wouldn't benefit. What these people are doing is disturbing. They're filling their pockets fake oil. They're eating meat and champagne and cake and ice cream. And you are here catching your nenen, catching your tail to put most basic food items on the table for yourself and your family. This is Faris Alwari. This is Faris personified greed and greedy. This PNM Jack Spratt could eat no fat, his wife could eat no lean. And so betwixt the both of them, they wiped the treasury clean with their deals. Wasn't 1 billion good enough, Faris? 1,690,000 a month, was that not enough, Faris? You just had to get the second billion at 644,000 a month, 1 point something million. People out here making $15 an hour, man. Some making no dollar an hour, no dollar a day. And they have to take care of all needs, food, shelter, clothing, medicine, book, transport. Faris, you're licorice, you're too damn greedy. You're a disgrace to the country. And then he and Young and Rowley said, okay, he left the room, he left the room. Wow, I wish when I leave a room, somebody give me a $23 million contract. So he leaves the room, he goes back and yes, decision. In his absence, he didn't know nothing. You believe that? You really believe he did not know what was going down? You really believe that he will not benefit from this deal? I'm asking you, answer. Do you believe he will benefit? Yes. Yes, he will, he will, he will. So picture it, cabinet meeting. You're sitting around with these people, you've campaigned with them in 2015. For the past 4 or 5 years, you all meeting, eating, and so on. Yeah, just picture this. So normally we have a pile of paper like this. These are the cabinet minutes. So we reach cabinet minute number, 1 second, cabinet minute, 1 moment. We reach cabinet minute number. When we reach our cabinet minute now, picture it. Yeah. When they're going to talk about giving his family plan millions, he say, okay fellas, I'll go, I'll come back just now. And he leaves the room. All of a sudden, the fact that they work together, line together, campaign together, that no longer exists. All of a sudden, everybody hand clean. They don't know Faris at all. They don't know anything. He's not their colleague. He's not in their cabinet just because he walk out of a room. I don't believe any of that. We can't have it both ways. The AG or number 3, Alexandra Lees, pick one and do it now. Either, Prime Minister, you revoke and cancel the contract with I.A.N or remove Al-Rari from the cabinet of the government of Trinidad and Tobago. You cannot have it both ways. You remember when there was a minister of my government for $150,000 contract she gave to her husband. You know what I did? She was removed from the cabinet. This is $23 million. This is no ordinary cabinet minister. This is your Attorney General. Prime Minister, do the right thing for once in your life and fire Faris Al-Rari. And Faris, choose the red money or choose the AG. This contract should be revoked. I close now with a way forward. My friends, it is clear that this government, and it is quite late anyway, this government led by Rowley has failed. The time has come for us to return to good governance, to get TNT working again. And I assure you that it will be a UNC government to bring back growth and stability and get our country working again. We plan to return growth, to make our homes and streets safer, to improve access to healthcare and education, and of course to create more jobs. We need the jobs. All right, there's a guy, Max Senos, he used to say, we need the money. Well, in Trinidad, we need jobs. The young people need jobs. The middle-aged people need jobs. Everybody needs a job in this country to take care of themselves. It's not about a hand down, it's about a hand up. It's not about just giving out, give away. It's about creating the jobs so people can sustain themselves and their families. So, are you ready to move with us? Are you ready to work with us? Are you ready to get TNT working again? So tonight, I ask you to raise your hand with me. You see this finger? This finger can put a government in office, and this finger can move a government out of office. So put your voting finger next to the rising sun. Vote for the UN.